take a drink every time Bruce says
I'd like
something wrong about.
I'd like for the record to be noted that I've always sent vectors.
You never sent a vector. You sent a PDF.
Let the record show that
See,
that's
why
incorrect.
Steven's no longer our vendor. That's why we moved to Sound and Fury. No, you said 32-hour work week. I went to 2 other shops in San Antonio, and I've talked to a couple others just visiting around. Everybody was doing 4-day work weeks. Every single shop that I've been.
I mean, there's a lot of research behind that, isn't there? That even sometimes saying that doing 4 10-hour days is still better than doing 5 8-hour days. Just because having the extra weekend and actually like giving real time to relax means you're going to be working harder for those days. So there's a lot of research behind that I've heard already coming across 4-day work weeks being more beneficial.
I've heard it both ways. I've heard it in the production floor that like there's, where are you slow on production? You're slow over like when jobs are setting up and tearing down. Mm-hmm. So with a 10-hour day, you can get a longer work day in. So your presses can just be running without like less breaks, I guess, tentatively, or like you don't have to stop the press in the middle of a job. You can maybe get 1 or 2 more runs in.
So taking that 5th day as like a prep day. So I'm saying like, all right, Friday is gonna be like prep day to like get as much done as possible. So like Monday through Thursday, the presses are just stocked and spinning.
Right. So if you took 1 day a week, now I don't think there's a 4-day work week for the owner.
Right.
This was just production.
But if you took 1 day a week that was all prep, and I mean getting the screens like in the correct order that they need to be printed, everything, how much faster would those next 4 days go? I bet you'd fly.
Oh, absolutely. But a lot of the shops that are hitting that spot are just hiring more bodies to get those tasks done anyways and keep the presses spinning and flying for 5 days a week. But I think they're looking over the fact that people hit burnout, right? Especially in the middle of summer. Like your shop's a little bit different than most, where like you're slowing down for the summer. Most of the shops this time of the year are sweating buckets.
We have air conditioning.
120. I know, rub it in. Most shops are 110, 120 in the summer. And
it's
they're
a
working.
Great employee perk, though.
It is. I mean, if you can do air conditioning, like little spot chillers at the person's station, worth it. But either way, when you're working somebody 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week at least, and it's 100 degrees plus in the shop, you're not at the capacity you should be. I don't care how good the person is. After a couple hours in there, they're slowing down. They have to. So, especially in the summer, I can see a lot of a change, especially somewhere out in like Texas or out in California, where like the heat index is even higher. Saying, look, we're going to only make you deal with it 4 days a week. Will you put a little bit more through? I'd be willing to bet they're actually putting more output through.
They said there was big things. One was commute time. Mm-hmm. So people that especially live further didn't have to drive in for a 5th day.
Yeah.
They said also the extra 3-day work weekend, they felt people were just happier to go in on that Monday. And then they also said it gives the owner and more front-end staff time, like quiet time to just work well on Fridays. And then lastly, the potential of if there's overflow, hey, can anybody come in for a couple hours?
So that's the hard part, though, because how do you prevent that overflow from consistently
happening? We'd hit
happening?
that overflow every time.
I think that's the problem. In the shops I've run, same thing. You start off with that intention. Before you know it, you're working Friday and Saturday.
I wonder if, but from a customer service...
6-day work week.
From a customer service standpoint, you have to have coverage 5 days a week.
Right.
If you're going to run a legit company, you have to be answering emails on a Friday.
This was solely production.
So I would even argue that no presses spin on a Monday.
That makes more sense to me. It's the prep day.
All right, thoughts behind that?
Okay. We're like I always say, t-shirts, we're event planners because we're printing for events, whether it's a family reunion, something, usually you're printing for some event, or we need the shirts by this day. Most of the time, those are on the weekends, I think. And we have a lot of due dates there always, like Thursday, Friday. Mm-hmm. I feel, to your point, we would be using that overflow all the time because you're always packing more stuff in. If you had Monday to prep, and then you printed for 4 solid days.
Yeah, but then you're going to go, well, I'd rather have that extra buffer day. Might as well do Monday through Thursday instead, so I have that buffer day to make my enhanced dates in case something goes wrong on press. And before you know it, you're back in the corner and back to working 5 days a week.
6 days
a week.
You know what would solve all of this? Bruce, give us an update on Power Scheduler.
Power Scheduler.
Ooh, yeah, where's that at?